Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how I've saved over $100,000 in 4 years and how you can do it too. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and stick around, share the video. It helps out this channel, and let's get started. So one thing that I didn't do is buy a new car. I have the same car that I've had since 2006, and it's this Chevy Colorado. But it runs and I don't have any payments on it, and I haven't had payments on it in years, so that saves me a ton of money. So before you buy a new vehicle, you want to think about how much you're going to have on payments, plus you're going to have to pay for a little bit higher insurance, things like that. And if you really look at it, you're going to get a lot of out-of-pocket expenses for that. So maybe think about purchasing a vehicle that is either used or one you've already got, and just keep it running. Something else to think about is phone service. Maybe you don't need that really expensive service. I and another person pay $80 a month for 2 phones. And another thing is do you really need that really expensive iPhone? Now, this last phone that I've purchased is more expensive, but I got it for a couple of reasons. One, I use it obviously, but I use pictures at work a lot. I have to take pictures of motors and things like that, and I also use it for videoing like I'm doing right here, which allows me to make a little bit of money on the side. So if you want to save money, think about getting a little bit cheaper phone, a little bit cheaper service, as long as it's a service that is still quality. Another thing to think about is shopping. Do you really need to shop and buy as much as you do? Me personally, I'm not a shopper by nature. I don't really buy a lot, and I like to save money where I can. And let me show you how a couple things I've saved money on in this house. And let's take, for instance, my couch. This couch is lovely as it is, came to me for free. My sister decided to get a new couch, and I was like, yes, I will take it. But this saves me a ton of money. What do the couches go for these days? Anywhere from $600 to $4,000, whatever it is. I didn't pay. Free. I like free. And here we have my dining room table in my small house that I really don't use this other than what you see right here. It's a table that was given to me. I didn't pay for it. It's just what it is. It's usable furniture. There you go. Free. All right, Jake. And we're in my garage, and if you take a look, I've got a lot of shelving in here and everything, and all of this shelving I did not pay for. I didn't pay for any of this stuff. Either people were throwing it out, or it's old wood that I used for shelves. These are all separate pieces that I can actually stack on each other, and that's what I did there. There's an old shelf there, and this shelf right here, my work was throwing it away, and I said, yes, I will take it. Thank you very much. So once again, free stuff. Another thing is shopping. I shop at Goodwill. I shop at Salvation Army. Saves me a ton of money. And for the most part with my job, I wear a uniform to work. So when I do get home, I work outside. I really don't need mega nice clothes, but you'd be surprised these days because a lot of people throw away a lot of nice clothes and they give them to Salvation Army and Goodwill just so they can buy more. So take a look at that anytime that you are deciding to buy anything. It's really kind of funny when you think about it. A lot of people, they think, well, if I'm going to a sale, I'm going to save a lot of money, where you really don't. Even if you have a sale, say something costs $150 and it's half priced off, right? $75 for something. Well, that's great and everything, but you still spent $75. So how does that work with you saving? That might work out for some things that you actually need, but you always have to think about what you need versus what you want, and are you going to save money versus are you just really kind of wasting your money for no reason? And think about going out to eat. I really don't go out to eat that much. I make a lot of my food at home, and especially in batches. What I mean by that is something that you can make, like a soup, a chili, things like that, that you can eat for several days at a time. I do that a lot when it comes to work. I take my lunch to work. Just this week I made vegetable soup, and it's lasted me all week long, and that can save you a ton of money. So careful about how much you go out to eat. Actually cook some home. And as I said a second ago, I take my lunch to work, and this saves me an absolute ton of money. So if you go to work, instead of buying things out of vending machines and stuff like that, going to fast food restaurants, start taking your lunch to work. And it's simple as, like I said before, make a chili, make some vegetable soup, what have you, and eat that. I mean, it's only going to cost you $1 or $2 versus anywhere $6-10 every single day. So take your lunch to work. This has saved me a ton. One of the other things that you can do is plant a garden. Think about some of the things, some of the vegetables that you like to have, and take the time, plant a garden. Not only is it probably going to be healthier than what you're going to find in stores, but it's going to save you a ton of money, especially how the prices for everything has went up this year. So take the time, plant a garden. Me personally, I eat a lot of tomatoes, I eat a lot of salad, so I grow lettuce, I grow tomatoes, and things like that. So start a garden. Another thing that'd be very helpful is if you learn to freeze and can food. So here's something that I've canned, and can a lot of tomatoes. So I will do like tomato soup and chili and things like that. I also do salsa, so I'll can salsa. You can make your own spaghetti sauce, so you can save a ton of money if you learn to do this also. As far as freezing goes, learn to freeze stuff. Let me show you the freezer. So freezing your own food, let's take a look at this. So this is a lot of frozen foods that maybe you can pick up on sale, and I know I've said something about, you know, spending money on sale versus food is a little bit different. So you always want to buy some things that are cheap, that way you can get more for your money. But I do have chickens, so I can freeze eggs. These are scrambled eggs that I freeze on my own, but anything else that I find that is on sale, I can freeze, put it in a freezer just like this, and can save you a ton of money. And the cool thing about having a freezer is some things that you open that, let's say we're in a can or what have you, you can still put in a freezer, like beans. Beans, you can freeze beans, you can make vegetable soup, you can freeze that, you can make beef stew, you can freeze that. So if you don't eat everything, you don't want to be wasteful, you can freeze it and save it for another week some other time. So use that freezer. This is one thing I really like to say is that storing food is kind of like a bank. Let's say you don't have very much money and 1 week and you need food. Suddenly you have it. You've canned it, you stored it in your freezer, and you are good to go, no problem. So freeze your food. So the next thing I'm going to say is don't be a picky eater. Tomatoes, I can't eat them, they're gross. Sorry, if you want to save money, you're going to have to eat things that maybe you don't really absolutely love, but that's when you can actually learn to be a cook and make things that you do out of things that you don't necessarily like. But anyway, this is getting me to this point. Get a cupboard, right? You'd be surprised what people give me that they don't want. Cans and cans of food that people do not want. I'm like, gimme, 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 because I can save money. I can make food. I can think about how I'm going to cook these items and make new things. And it's just a really fun adventure, right? But anyway, canned food. Let me show you what I got. So I've converted my hallway closet into a little food pantry, and it's an absolute mess right here, but it is a plethora of a food bank that I have. And this little bank will last me forever. So like I was saying the other day, I wanted to make some vegetable soup, and I literally had all the ingredients except for maybe one thing. So that whole soup that has lasted me a full week cost me maybe $2. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, people were going to throw out, they didn't want, they don't like beans. I would say, take those beans and I'm going to eat those beans. No worries, I'll take it. So if you want to see my other video where I actually talk about my pantry and some of my food storage, I'll make sure I leave a link in the description below. That way you can kind of take a look at that and see what I've really done here. But start a food pantry. Something else you want to think about is maybe doing what I've done, and that's stop drinking. Actually, I haven't. I've not stopped drinking. I still drink from time to time. I do partake in the drink. So I guess you got to make that decision for yourself. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is housing. Now, how are you going to save money on housing? Everybody needs a place to live, right? Well, there's a lot of different types of house hacks, and a lot of people will do buying the duplex and they live on one side while they rent out the other side, and that one side pays for your mortgage and you get to essentially live for free. This is not the housing hack that I'm doing. What I'm doing is I have a family member who has a few different rentals. I get to live in one, and the agreement is that I help out with mowing, some other work, things like that. I also pay for the taxes in the house that I live in, but essentially I don't have to pay rent. I pay for bills, things like that. But think about that. I don't have a house payment. That lowers my expenditures quite a bit. So think about different ways that you can house hack. And before I get too far into the video, if this is helping you at all, please hit that like, hit the subscribe, share the video. Hopefully, if you get some sort of information out of this that is helpful to you in your life, help me out, help this channel out, and it will allow me to continue making some of these videos for you. And let's get going a little bit more. And the next thing we're going to talk about is free money. Now, how are you going to get free money? Nobody gives away free money, right? But they do. Take a look at credit card companies, and this is what I mean by this. In my scenario, here's what happened to me, is I had to buy a water heater for a rental, and I knew this was going to be a expensive expenditure, and it was $500 to $700, things like that. So I looked around, saw what I could purchase, and I found that at the time, Lowe's was giving away a credit card, and I was able to get $200 back for basically signing up for a credit card and making a purchase. I think it was over $500 or something like that. So I knew that was coming, so I essentially saved $200. $200 was given to me for an expenditure that I had to have anyway. Now, this wasn't something that I was buying just because I wanted it. No, this was something I had to have for a rental. So I took that and was able to save $200. And I've done this multiple times with different things. If I was getting down flooring or something like that. I also wanted to redo my bathroom at my own home, and so I got on Amazon. Amazon had a special, $200 back, and then I bought all my towels and things like that for my bathroom. So I saved $200 because they essentially gave to me. I got all my towels essentially for free. You can also do this with checking accounts, savings accounts. A lot of places will give you money back if you open up a direct deposit. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that. Credit cards, new bank accounts. But here's the thing, make sure you're able to pay these things off. Don't just get them. That's going to set you in a worse position than you were before. Always pay off what you're spending on your credit cards. So the next thing we need to talk about is subscriptions. And what I mean by that is like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, things like that. Does anyone ever need all of those subscriptions at the exact same time? More than likely, you're going to watch one for a while and then watch another, and because we all go through shows and we kind of binge watch and things like that. So do you really need all of the subscriptions at the same time? Because at that point, you're going to be spending quite a bit of money. So what I do is I like to, let's say for instance, I'll take Netflix. I'll watch Netflix and I'll pause my subscriptions on the others and won't have to pay for those. I'll watch Netflix for a month and then I'll put Netflix on pause, not pay that subscription, bring up Disney Plus, watch all the shows that I want on that, and then I would just kind of rotate through. That's going to save you a ton of money. Other things you can kind of do is maybe get on something with a family member or something like that, but they're kind of starting to crack down on things. So kind of be creative and maybe put them all on pause. Just watch one for a bit. And one thing that you really need to consider is the type of debt that you're in. There's good debt and bad debt. And what I mean by that is this, is let's say you buy a house. Not that a house purchase is bad by any means or anything like that, but does that debt make you money or does it cost you money? Essentially, it costs you money, even though it is an investment and everything. There's gonna be a lot of argument over this. I understand this is just a scenario. What I would consider good debt is rental properties. So for me, I have currently, I think, around $180,000 in debt, but those are to rental properties. And those rental properties pay for that debt, plus I get money going into my pocket. I have positive cash flow going into my pocket at the same time that debt is being paid off by the renters. So that's good debt. Let's make it a little bit easier. How about a car? Do you need a $50,000 car? Or is it just something you just want? So what I was saying earlier is that my truck is totally paid off, so I don't have any debt on that. Now, if I buy another car, now I'm paying on that, and that's going to depreciate, and I will never get that money back. So there's good debt, there's bad debt, and that's one of the things that you really should start to think about is what is the difference, and how can I lessen my bad debt? Now, here's one that I really want to talk about, and this really changed my life. This decision honest to God, changed my life. And it was deciding to change professions. Now, I did a lot of odd jobs, painting, building, mowing, all this different stuff. And I got to the point where I said, you know what, I need something different. And I started to look around, and I found a technical school in my area. So with technical school, I looked at all the different classes that they were offering, and I found a few that I liked, and I researched them, and I saw how much that people can make with that. And based on that, I made the decision to become an industrial maintenance technician. That choice literally set me on the path to everything that you're seeing right now. I was able to use all of these suggestions that I'm giving to you right now to save money, but saving money is one thing. You really need to figure out a way to make money. So changing your profession can help you make money. This changed my life. It allowed me to not only make more money, but when you make money, you're able to save more money, and then I was able to invest that money, which is making me more money. So think about changing your profession. Now within this, what I did also was I researched it, and because I didn't make a lot of money to begin with, I was able to get some grants from the state, and the majority of my schooling ended up being paid for. What it came down to me was me actually showing up to the class. Think about changing your profession. There's a lot of options out there. You just have to put in the work to figure out what's going to be the best suit for you. So this is where I go back to that good debt and bad debt. Now with the money that I was able to make with my job, I've been able to buy rental properties. Now, I didn't buy the rental properties full and outright, not all of them. I put a down payment down, get a loan, and here we go. But because of this job, and then I bought a couple rental properties, and then they were able to give me more money, then I was able to save some because of my job. I have a few rental properties that I have loans on, and then I have a few that are absolutely paid off. So this is where that whole idea of it takes money to make money, at least in my situation, I figured out a way where I could make more money, and then I took that money by saving the way I've described in this video, and then I had more money to invest. So what I've done so far is I've invested in real estate, and I've put money into the stock market. So that's going to make me money a little bit more in the long term, just like rental properties are. Now this next one is a couple of different things, and is do some work for yourself and take care of what you have. And what I mean by that is this, is like I said, I have a couple of rental properties that I need landscaping done on, and I made the decision that I'm going to go and mow, and that saves me about $70 a week. Doesn't really seem like that much, but you think about over the course of summer, 3 months, every week I'm saving $70. So now add that over the course of a few years, and I've had these rental properties for I think 2 years now. So I've saved into the thousands of dollars at this point. So there's that. The other thing is take care of what you have. What I mean by that is this, is I have a washing machine that I've had for, about 20 years, and it went out on me. So what do? I'm lucky enough, I'm in a situation where it's not a really big deal and I can go and buy one. But no, I'm not that guy, because that's wasteful and not thinking the way you need to be thinking if you want to save money in order to invest and things like that. So what did I do? I looked at YouTube, which is an absolute wonderful source of information. And I figured out what was wrong with that washer, and ended up being a coupler that was connected to the motor and the pump. I replaced it for literally $12, and I'm still using that washing machine right now. I also made a video of me making that fix, and I put it on my other YouTube channel, which is called Kai Projects, which I hope you guys will go ahead and take a look at, because that is very much about saving money, doing work for yourself, doing projects for yourself, and being able to hang on to as much money as you possibly can, so you can do something a little bit more positive with it than just buying a pair of shoes. And a lot of these things really kind of go into what I've already mentioned, and that's side hustles. I really kind of think of my real estate investing as a side hustle. That's not my main job. My main job is an industrial maintenance technician, which I told you before. And I'm also doing YouTube, which I get a little bit of money off my Kai Projects YouTube channel, and hopefully get some off of this eventually. But there's some other side projects that I do, but really look for more ways to make money. Another way that I'm starting to look at to make money, but it's kind of a dual thing, is I like salads and I like eating slightly healthy, but behind me I started my own little microgreens. So what I want to be able to do is possibly be able to sell some of this, which will offset the cost for the microgreens that I eat, and then that will save me money in the long run. So there's always ways to make money. You just really need to put yourself out there, put in the time, and be willing to work. Get yourself away from video games, get yourself away from Netflix and Disney Plus, as hard as it is, I understand, and start researching things that maybe perhaps interest you and try to do something different. Those microgreens. And the last thing I'm gonna leave you guys with is cut your own hair. Cutting hair these days is like 20, 30 bucks, except for you ladies, this is just guys. But I save a ton of money. I have somebody who cuts my hair, and that is my sister, so thank you, sis. I don't have that skill to cut my own hair, but if you know somebody who's able to do that, maybe you guys can work something out, barter something, and save a little bit of money for both you guys. So that's it for the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and I appreciate you all watching. I'll see you guys next time.